Alright, so we've got a really pretty hilarious story here, in my opinion. NASA astronauts lose key piece of ISS shield, and now it's floating in free space. Okay, I'm interested. Spacewalk astronauts Shane Kimbrough and Peggy Whitson went out on the International Space Station's 199th spacewalk on March 30th to carry out routine maintenance. A piece of important cloth shielding to guard against micrometeoroids floated away while the astronauts were at work. So March 30th, 3-30. If you take away the 0, like you would in numerology, you're left with a 33. Astronauts Peggy Whitson and Shane Kimbrough were working on an area of the space station where a docking port had been disconnected and moved last week. They were in a process of using 4 large cloth panels to cover an access point where a docking port had been. One of the fabric shields suddenly drifted away and floated off into space. So, it says the audible frustration in Whitson's voice was reported. Up until that point, about 3.5 hours into the spacewalk, everything had been going smoothly. So pause right there. Let's think about 3.5 hours. 3 hours and 30 minutes. Is it similar to March and 30? 3 hours and 30 minutes. 3 and 3, 0. So you see the connection right there. This is how they do it. They put their numbers in constantly. It's just something they like to do. So this is a sign you can look for. You know, if you want to know something's a psychological operation, if it's a manipulation of the people, then look for these numbers. Look for, certain synchronicities that just don't really seem to make sense, right? So keep going on here. Let's see. So the team will go back and look at the chain of events, but it was untethered. And then you can see right here, we have a fire in the cockpit. This is just a story that they're linking, and in my opinion, this is a way for them to strengthen the psychological operation, because this is a disaster of the Apollo 1 story. If you click on this, and it's trauma-based mind control, and it gets people in the state of mind to be, to where their brain is basically just able to be molded by, the powers that be. And that's why they use these traumatic types of situations where people become stressed and worried. So, that way they can mold you and hammer you into the shape they want. It's okay. We'll keep reading. The shield also provides a barrier from extreme temperature changes. Because it was such an important task, ground teams at Mission Control scrambled to find a solution for the quarter of the access point left exposed. So we're talking about a piece of cloth protecting the International Space Station that is traveling in free fall orbit speed of 17,500 miles per hour. And a piece of cloth is protecting it. Okay. Let's see. Also, Peggy Whitson broke a record. It says, of note, part of the way through the spacewalk, Whitson set the record for the female astronaut with the most cumulative spacewalking time at 53 hours and 22 minutes. She broke the previous record of 50 hours and 40 minutes, held by the American astronaut Sunita Suni Williams. It was Whitson's 8th spacewalk, also a record for a female astronaut. Alright, so I did a little bit of breakdown about that time. The total time of the spacewalk was 53 hours and 22 minutes. Another way you could look at it was 3,202 minutes. And yet again, if you take out the 0, as you would in numerology, you're left with 322, the skull and bones number. You can also look at it as 223, which is also an important occult number. Let's see. So also, also what was cool I noticed is they lost a shield. The article says all is well until 3 hours and 3 minutes, or 3 hours, 3.5 hours into the mission, which is 3 hours and 30 minutes, which would give you a relation of 33. And then if you write out the word shield in reverse reduced gematria, shield equals 33. They lost a shield, you know, at 3.5 hours. I thought that was interesting. Let's see. Had a couple more points written down here. But yeah, just definitely check out this article. There's not a whole lot written about it, but there's definitely a whole lot more there. And also, when I wrote down the, this one was interesting to me too. Also broke a previous record of 50 hours and 40 minutes. So if you break that down into a fraction, 50 hours and 40 minutes is 50.66666666 repeating hours. Or you could look at it as 2 days and 160 minutes, yet again dropping the 0 as you would in numerology. 2 days, 160 minutes. When you drop the 0, it would give you a number that would relate to 216. And, you know, I feel like it's somewhat interesting, you know, the 216 and the 666 and the 33. You know, it seems to be another fake spacewalk, you know, and I think that's all the spacewalks are. If you look at this video, we'll watch this real fast. And just look at how ridiculous this is, because I meant to play this in the very beginning of the video.
Now beginning to see the sun rise and illuminate the outside of the International Space Station. Shane Kimbrough should be coming out the airlock shortly.
Or you can do that after, when you're stowing the cable later.
Okay, I'll plan on doing that later.
It is sort of a space drill, and right now he's unbolting the old MDM, the multiplexer, demultiplexer, and switching it out for new and upgraded hardware. In the meantime, Peggy Whitson over on the other end, over near the PMA, pressurized mating adapter, you're seeing her with the ORU bag. It's just a storage bag. She'll be taking the cover off the top of the PMA and putting it in that bag. That's the first of their tasks.
Your chin.
Shane Kimbrough again, helmet camera 18, driving that prime.
And this is the bag. And also, if you'll notice right here how the 0 is crossed out. I just thought that was interesting. Just wanted to note that out. But they're, you know, this is supposed to be them floating around in space. Not floating around in space, but falling at 17,500 miles per hour through space. They lose this bag. And supposedly they've lost all kinds of other things, like full bags of tools, and none of this stuff has ever hit the space station. You know, they have pieces of cloth that protect it in case it does. But today they just hit a snag. So I'm going to finish this quick end of this video, and then I'll be done. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, like and subscribe. Thank you.
Primary bolt out, looks like he got it, a good view of it. The black structure there in the center now with a little bit of a shade of the horizon as the International Space Station passes 248 statute miles, about to enter an orbital nighttime. She's onto her nest.
So
A fleet of robotic spacecraft is exploring the red.
They never even show the thing come off. I mean, it's funny, but I just thought this was an interesting story. So let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you feel like that was real. Real people floating, flying through space at 17,500 miles per hour, then I'd like to hear about how do you think they dodge all of these MMODs, as they call them, and micrometeoroid orbital debris, all these things, space junk. They tell you how much is supposed to be out there. It's supposed to be unbelievable amounts of things hurtling through space just ready to annihilate the ISS. So I just want to hear what how do you think they avoid this? So this is a cool story. Check it out. Talk to everybody later. Peace.